This episode of Internet Today is brought to you by Magic Spoon.
Sorry, everyone. No more meat.
What?
You can't have it.
What?
So cancel those barbecues and stock up on that salad.
What? Who would do that?
The whole country is being forced to go vegetarian thanks to President Biden.
Biden? Thanks, Biden.
Only that's not what's happening, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the current president, despite members of the Republican Party absolutely losing their minds and riling up their base over the past few days regarding a completely made-up, non-existent ban on eating meat.
But what if I want to be mad at something, even if it isn't real?
Well, you're free to do that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Damn it, Biden.
The Biden law banning meat is just another in a growing list of complete fabrications shared far and wide by members of the GOP meant to piss people off, most of whom won't follow up and realize that it was almost immediately refuted, resulting in at least some talking heads having to issue retractions and apologies.
Yeah, it was wild. Everyone's just like, did you hear Biden? He's banning meat. He's trying to make it so we can't eat our meat anymore. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to eat 2 burgers tonight. And I'm going to post a picture of it on social media so that all those liberals, AOC, look at this AOC with your Green New Deal.
Actually, no, sir, that was proven false. He never said that, and it's not a part of any of his administration's initiatives at all.
I don't know. Sounds like something that he and his liberal Democrat friends would do. I tell you what, he can take my steak, my well-done steak, from my cold, dead hands.
But it's going to be slippery because it's covered in ketchup.
That's right. Well, so again, yeah, the rumor is not true. Nobody's banning meat or telling you how much meat you can consume. That has not been proposed at all by the current administration in this country. But despite this news being debunked, let's look at where this whole rumor started and how it spread to show how quickly this actual fake news can get out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
So it all started on Thursday of last week when British tabloid, mind your own fucking business.
Yeah.
British tabloid, the Daily Mail, ran an article with a headline that read, "How Biden's climate plan could limit you to eat just 1 burger a month."
The Brits are still so upset about the fact that they don't get the same taste out of their fish and chips because there's like a law that said that you can't put it in actual newspaper. There was a whole thing recently about how one of the things about voting for Brexit was like, finally we can get our fish and chips in newspaper again.
There was the Brexit like post-mortem, people had some weird reasons, like going back to the old British monetary system, which I had no idea was as fucking stupid as it is, but it's like, you know how like we have a decimal system for our, for the only thing Americans have a actual like decimal measurement system for is our money. Yeah. But over in Britain, before the euro, it was like the amount of pence that added up to like a pound was like this fucking weird mathematical thing.
Yeah.
And people, they miss that. They miss having to do like weird mental math.
And they miss the taste of that ink.
Yeah.
So look, stay out of our fucking food, you Brits. But anyways, this headline from the Daily Mail, it was in response to statements that Biden made during a climate summit where he made a pledge to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by up to 52% by the year 2030. In their own article, the Daily Mail goes on to say that, quote, while Biden hasn't released details on what life could look like for Americans, experts and recent studies have laid out what would need to change by 2030 to reach the goal. Then comes a very big, bold infographic which leads with red meat and follows up with Americans may have to cut their red meat consumption by a whopping 90% and cut their consumption of other animal-based foods in half. Gradually making those changes by 2030 could see diet-related greenhouse gas emissions reduced by 50%, according to a study by Michigan University's Center for Sustainable Systems. To do that, it would require Americans to only consume about 4 pounds of red meat per year, or 0.18 ounces per day. It equates to consuming roughly 1 average-sized burger per month.
Oh no. 1 burger a month? Well, that's fucking nuts. Let's run with that. Let's get people pissed off.
They can only have 1 burger per month.
Oh man, I can't wait to hit send on this tweet and just see chaos ensue.
And God forbid you want to lay down a ribeye.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're gonna have to tax that ribeye, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You were being taxed.
This should go without saying that, emissions from operating factory farms and emissions
they're real
from cattle,
bad.
It's very bad.
Yeah, we do eat too much meat, but this is taking some completely separate information and applying it to this other information over there and just being like, see, he wants to take away your burgers.
And for clarity, we both eat meat and,
Yeah,
and love grilling.
I just bought a huge tri-tip this morning that I'm very excited to smoke and grill.
Yeah.
Meat is and
so if this were true, it would piss both of us off.
Yeah, I would be upset. Probably not as upset as a lot of these other people, but like also, I don't know. I see why we probably should eat less meat, everyone, and the people who have managed to cut meat out of their diets entirely, I'm actually pretty envious of, because that would be very hard for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, none of this was mentioned. This taking your meat away stuff was not mentioned by Biden or his administration at all. It was just thrown into some news, some British news, about Biden's...
Stay out of our business.
Some news about Biden's climate goals in the fucking Daily Mail, because a study that was published before Biden was even president said that hypothetically, if we reduce meat consumption, it would reduce emissions.
Yeah.
A lot of red yarn here.
Yes.
Even Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack had to come out on Monday with an official statement, which read, "There is no effort designed to limit people's intake of beef coming out of President Biden's White House or USDA. Sometimes in the political world, games get played and issues are injected into the conversation knowing full well that there's no factual basis."
I'm glad that he tossed that in there at the end. Like, there's a reason people are spreading this.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the headline, it was there. The story, the study, I guess, backed it up. And anyone who wanted to make the talking point of Biden's taking my meat away and spread it online could do so, because it was tied to Biden in bold print on an article in a respectable newspaper from Britain, where everyone's smart and talks real eloquently. Yeah. So must be true. And that's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Georgia Congresswoman and QAnon supporter Marjorie Taylor Greene called him the Hamburglar.
That's kind of funny.
It is, yeah, and added that no burgers for thee, but just for me, with a shocking photo of Joe Biden enjoying a hamburger. How dare he?
They did the same shit with like AOC when like the first draft of the Green New Deal went out, which had a section about like, hey, cutting down on factory farming of cattle would go a long way towards saving the climate, and like immediately just like, is this you eating a burger, AOC?
Flying on an airplane?
Hypocritical much? Yeah.
Wearing something besides a potato sack?
Some socialist you are.
Yeah. And she also, immediately after that, someone was very quick to mock something up that she just had to retweet. And that was a photoshopped image of Joe Biden as the Hamburglar, the famous McDonald's character.
That's hilarious.
Look, if it were true, great tweet. Terrible person.
I like the idea that Biden is taking away everyone's meat so he can have it to himself.
Yes, exactly. Yes, he's hoarding it for himself because he loves hamburgers so much.
Anyways, the other crazy in Congress, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, or is it Boebert? I don't know. Boebert. Yeah. Sounds like a fake name. Lauren Boebert, the other QAnon Congresswoman from Colorado, whose restaurant, as you recall, gave people bloody diarrhea. And
I wouldn't trust her around any kind of food.
Yeah, she really shouldn't be around food, especially red meat. She said, quote, "Joe Biden's climate plan includes cutting 90% of red meat from our diets by 2030. They want to limit us to about 4 pounds a year. Why doesn't Joe stay out of my kitchen?"
And that's another, that's more direct of just not even dancing around the issue, just saying it as fact. Joe Biden's climate plan wants you to, is taking meat away.
Yeah.
Donald Trump Jr. got in on the fun.
Oh, of course he did.
Publicly disclosing just how much meat he can handle, saying, "I'm pretty sure I ate 4 pounds of red meat yesterday. That's going to be a hard no from me."
Okay, look.
That's a lot of meat.
Like I said, I enjoy a delicious steak. I enjoy some well-prepared beef. 4 pounds of beef is you are going to have diarrhea for 2 straight days. That's an insane amount of
Donald Trump Jr. is Bobby Hill.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot of meat.
No. I love how Donald Trump Jr. is basically now just the world's shittiest Instagram influencer.
Yeah.
Just any issue that comes up, hey guys,
remember
did
me?
You hear about this?
Yeah, he's just at this point just a provocateur.
Yeah.
Just I'm gonna say whatever the most titillating thing possible about this.
He literally will just check the trending tab.
Yeah.
And make a video about it. Anyway, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, another character we've talked about before, he tweeted out a screenshot of a graphic that was running on Fox News, which also alluded to the idea that Biden was coming for their meat, adding, "Not gonna happen in Texas."
Texas is where you can get a single 4-pound steak, so
yeah.
I understand.
If
we'll kill the cow in front of you.
Yeah. It's not gonna taste as good. I mean, there is
An aging process.
There is an aging process to the beef, but if you want it right off the fucking bone, I guess, sure, fine. Have it your way.
But while all of those were merely tweets that eventually would have trickled down to everyday voters who don't sit on Twitter all day, the real spread of this meat ban came from the place Greg Abbott got his screenshotted graphic from, Fox News. A company who at least claims to be an actual news organization, and it did come from a part of the day where they at least attempt to provide news and not just a bunch of opinion shows like Tucker Carlson and Hannity. Like, there's a sliver of the afternoon where it's not like whatever it's called, like the 5. It's in between all the opinion shows.
Brett Baer for like 45 minutes.
Yeah, and some other guy. It used to be like Shepard Smith.
Yeah, it used to be Shep Smith.
Anyways, they ran the story, tying it to Biden, and produced the graphic that was shown in Greg Abbott's tweet. And by doing so, informed every Fox viewer watching that Biden was coming for their red meat.
They certainly put quite a spin on this meat news.
It's a
real
spin.
Meat spin, as they say.
Fox News, classic meat spinners.
No, this is a no meat spin zone.
Fox News would definitely be a no meat spin zone.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Fox coverage, it continued on former economic advisor to Donald Trump, Larry Kudlow's show over on Fox Business, where he went off on the meat ban once again, and then said that soon enough, everyone will be forced to drink plant-based beer.
What? A beer that doesn't even bleed?
Look, that's where I draw the line. No plant-based beer.
Vegan beer? Ew.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, for their part, Fox News and John Roberts of America Reports, the show where the segment originally aired, they finally issued a correction 3 days later after they'd gotten half the people in this country just piping mad.
That dude, there's so many people that are going to get like colon cancer and heart disease from this past weekend where they did like Dom Jr.
This is my last chance to ever eat meat. Now Joe Biden's taking it all away.
Like Goku just downing it.
Oh, beef, I love you. I'm going to miss you so.
Yeah.
Anyway, they issued the correction 3 days later. They said, quote, a graphic and a script incorrectly implied that it was part of Biden's plan for dealing with climate change. That is not the case. Oops.
On to the next story.
Though all the tweets from members of Congress, the governor of Texas, and the fail son of our ex-president, they're all still up without any correction as of when we filmed. They're probably still,
I mean, if you're
dotting their I's and crossing their T's.
If you're Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're not going to delete that absolute banger, calling him the hamburger.
No, this is how she got where she is today. This exact kind of hysteria. Mm-hmm. It's her bread and butter. It's her bread and butter and meat.
Next thing, there comes my butter.
Yeah.
Because it's a meat byproduct.
Anyway, this all just goes to show how quickly and rapidly stuff like this can spread. And it's also another example of Republicans having just fighting over stuff that isn't even real and won't affect anyone.
Yeah.
Because it's not real. It makes their base angry, so it works in rallying them up against people for no reason.
Yeah.
Like how the Dr. Seuss thing was that was because of Democrats. Joe Biden's taking away green eggs and ham.
Yeah, even though that wasn't the book.
Yeah, the real reason was just the publishing company who owns the rights to it. It's like somewhat quietly just pulled a bunch of titles.
Also, Hasbro's like, by the way, this is the potato family now. We have a wide range of potato products.
Yeah.
Oh, they're taking his dick away.
Anyway, there's plenty of very real policy decisions and plans that Republicans could be arguing with this administration about and informing their constituents about.
Yeah. There's a big infrastructure plan.
But, instead of trying to find common ground on stuff like climate change, it all just immediately boils over into half the country is trying to say that you can't have hamburgers. They're trying to take away your meat.
Steak and Shake in shambles. Shake Shack, sorry, I get them confused. Shake Shack's the popular one. Steak and Shake, grew up with it. Delicious. The steak burgers. Not as prominent, especially on this side of the country.
Don't we have Steak and Shake real close by?
Yeah, but it's like a weird version of it.
It's like a franchise. I don't think it's actually. It's fine. It's a little expensive.
Yeah.
So is Shake Shack is way overpriced.
Yeah,
I think Shake Shack's like $12 for a meal. People can dog on In-N-Out all day, but In-N-Out hasn't changed their fucking prices in like 25 years.
Yeah,
it's weird, but that's where they get pushed over the line into the S tier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But hey, let's move over to some good news. The United States, sorry, Canada, and gosh, a lot of other places.
Brazil.
Yeah. So this is for the UK and United States. Sorry, everyone else. Look, the United States continues to do a damn good job when it comes to vaccine availability and people actually getting their jab. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is back on the menu.
It's like the McRib. It's back.
We took it away for a little bit, so people really wanted it, and we brought it back. It's back on the menu alongside Pfizer and Moderna, and in many cities around the country, you can now just walk up and receive the vaccine instead of having to make an appointment, which is very convenient for people that don't have access to the internet or other problems that might arise. It's great that the availability is this open. In a lot of cities, not all, but with the increase in vaccinations and decrease in infection rate, hospitalizations, and deaths in a majority of the areas in this country, there's some outliers, like Michigan is not doing great, but the majority is going down. We are finally starting to see the CDC issue some less restrictive guidelines for everyone so that we can continue on the path back to normal.
On Tuesday of this week, the CDC announced that people who are fully vaccinated can feel safe attending most outdoor events, but they still recommend wearing a mask if you're going to an outdoor event where lots of people will be present, like an outdoor concert or a sporting event.
But hey, look, if you're going outside, you don't have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
And
good.
That's great.
I mean, I've been doing it just as a courtesy. Like, if I'm walking my fucking dog and no one is on the street, like, I don't need to be wearing a mask.
There's no reason to at all.
I'm just doing it in case someone happens to pop out of somewhere.
And like with the guidelines we're about to get to, the indoor stuff, like you go to the store and stuff like that, you're doing it because nobody knows who's vaccinated and who's not. It's a courtesy because you're a nice person and you don't want other people to get upset or whatever else. You're being nice. Like,
that's too much to ask.
I know.
So when indoors, masks are still recommended by the CDC, but according to their charts, you can feel safe doing pretty much anything, including going back to the movie theater, gyms, or restaurants. Mm-hmm. They have a handy infographic for all of this, but it basically boils down to if you're vaccinated, you are relatively safe to return to normal activities. But if there's a bunch of people around, and especially if you're indoors, it's best to still wear your mask.
Yes.
If you're not vaccinated, indoor activities with other people of any kind are still risky, but the guidelines for outdoor activities have become less restrictive.
Yeah. So there you go. That's good news.
This is good.
Yeah.
If everyone gets vaccinated right now,
we
this
can
can all be fucking over.
We can end this. But this far into the pandemic, people have already decided whatever the hell they want to do and which risks they're going to take, and nothing right now is going to change their minds, especially people who never took the pandemic seriously and refused to get vaccinated. Ted Nugent. Or people that haven't gotten it and have, despite the risks, luckily not gotten it. It's like, well, I'm not going to start wearing a mask now, but you should get vaccinated regardless. It is reassuring to see things getting more back to normal in an official level, though. That's very reassuring. But also in good vaccine news, it's looking more and more likely that those who are fully vaccinated don't pose a risk of potentially infecting someone who isn't vaccinated.
Yeah, and this has been sort of confirmed over and over again by different studies, but the fact that it keeps getting confirmed is good in science. You want your results to happen.
The thing is we are 5 months into the year, and the data is literally still being written.
Yeah.
But it is good that it has shown still that this is happening, which is great. In a Johns Hopkins Q&A with infectious disease expert Dr. Ames Adalia, he said the following, quote, "The emerging data confirms what many of us thought would be the case, that not only do the vaccines stop symptomatic COVID, but they also make it highly unlikely that someone can even be infected at all. I think the preponderance of that evidence supports the fact that vaccinated individuals are not able to spread the virus."
Hell yeah.
Which is great. My parents, I love them, but, they have their beliefs, and I really want to see them, but I don't want me to be like the scapegoat of if they got infected after I visited, it would be my fault and not the fault that they haven't changed their lives one iota.
There was a fucking Ask Reddit this past week. I can't remember what the question was, but it was like doctors and nurses of Reddit. What's the most in denial COVID patient you had over the past year? And it was just a bunch of doctors and nurses talking about people, younger people who came in feeling really sick. They're like, "You have COVID?" And they're like, "No, I don't. Fuck you. I'm out of here." And they went home, and then they were back 3 days later when shit really hit the fan, and they lived through it. But man, they also got their parents sick, and the parents didn't live through it. And it's just multiple stories of that, where it's just you have a good chance of living. The older, the immunocompromised in your life, much less so.
Yes. Lots of heartbreaking stories in January because of Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And then, continuing to February because of Christmas. It sucks. But it's good to know that if you are fully vaccinated, not very likely that you would be able to pass it on to
Highly
someone.
unlikely.
Highly unlikely.
Now, of course, we should point out that the vaccines, they're not a silver bullet. They don't offer 100% protection. With Moderna and Pfizer, it's over 90%. Johnson & Johnson, slightly less. And all three protect against severe symptoms, hospitalization, and death.
Mm-hmm.
So you might still get COVID, but it's almost certainly, if you do, in the slim chance you get COVID while vaccinated, it's highly likely that it will be
asymptomatic or milder.
Yeah,
yes.
very mild.
And also, it's been shown that people with long COVID, have had their symptoms reduced by getting the vaccine.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Anyway, some COVID cases have shown up in fully vaccinated people, but those cases are exceedingly rare, and many have been shown to have been contracted before or during the vaccination time frame. So it's definitely important not to let your guard down until it's been 2 weeks since your second dose of Moderna or Pfizer, or 2 weeks since your one and only dose of the old Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah. A lot of reports of people like 6 people, but still, the numbers are so low. It's like 6 people got COVID after, and it's like, oh, well, technically they contracted it around a week after their first shot.
And that's out of like, what, 100 million?
It's extremely low. But the good news is that, hey, look, it looks like vaccines work. So
crazy.
Get it.
I need to read up more on this, but these new vaccines, they're like some of the first examples of
mRNA. Yeah, which opens the door to a lot of potential cures and treatments.
The story of how mRNA was developed is like fascinating. It's like I think it was a woman who first was like mainly responsible for the research behind it, and just like for years, the scientific community was just like, nah, that'll never work. And it's like finally fucking vindicated.
That's what's crazy.
Now they're
about
using
this
it. Like they're using it for like an AIDS vaccine and like a bunch of other shit that was not really possible before.
We are witnessing the technological marvel of our generation.
Yeah, it's crazy how they can put such a tiny 5G Bill Gates chip inside my veins.
I look, you joke, but what I'm saying is like this is on the level of the moon landing. This is something that science has done in a very rapid amount of time that is going to change lives forever.
Yeah, and the way the mRNA vaccines actually work is super interesting too. The best explanation I saw on Twitter, which sort of repurposes a viral Twitter tweet, is that mRNA vaccines work by making up a guy, telling your immune system about it, and your immune system getting mad at that made-up guy.
Yeah. And he shows up again, like, nah.
Yeah.
Anyways, before we get into the rest of the episode with stories about CEOs tripping on LSD, and also a specifically Canadian internet issue, and also an X-rated moment from a 20-year-old children's film going viral, let's take a quick second to thank today's sponsor. Elliot, show them who it is.
Let me get the box.
You know them. You love them. It's Magic Spoon.
I got the peanut butter here.
Magic Spoon flavor is delicious cereal for people who care about their health and don't want any surprises in their box of cereal outside of how surprisingly great this good-for-you cereal tastes. Look, we all loved cereal growing up, but as you grow older, you start focusing more on what's in your food and what you should and shouldn't be eating. And that's why Magic Spoon is perfect. I'll wait for Elliot to take a little bite here so he can say the next line. It is delicious cereal, and it's without all of that baggage attached to it.
So Magic Spoon has, Magic Spoon has 0 grams of sugar, 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. Also, only 140 calories. And you can try a bunch of Magic Spoon's best-selling flavors in a 4-flavor variety pack featuring cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. Or you can build your own. We personally love the peanut butter flavor as well as their cinnamon. They've also got some newer flavors that I don't even know are publicly
we might have been
yet.
beta testing them.
Yeah, we may have been beta testing some flavors, but they're very good.
You should get excited.
They all taste basically identical to the regular cereal flavors from your childhood, but with the added bonus of being super nutritious because it's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free.
So click the link below to grab a variety pack and try it today, and be sure to use the promo code TODAYDAILY at checkout to get $5 off any order. Or you can just go to magicspoon.com/todaydaily. But by the way, Magic Spoon, they are so confident in their product, it is backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So click the link below or head to the link, magicspoon.com/todaydaily. Use that code TODAYDAILY for $5 off your order. Save $5 today and use our link.
All right.
There you go.
I wish I could eat this whole bowl, but we got news. All right, now back into the news with one of the most Canadian stories that we've ever heard in quite a while.
Yeah.
So, a rural town in British Columbia was just completely taken offline for 36 hours straight this past weekend when local Beavers chewed through the area's internet cables, stole them, and used them to build their dam.
What? What?
I'm a beaver. It's what I fucking do.
Hey, look, these people
You shouldn't have left it sitting there.
They put some delicious cabling under the ground here that we can take. Oh, look how well it holds things up.
It really dams well. From CBS News, the outage wreaked havoc on the internet, cable television, and local cell phone service of the about 1,000 TELUS customers in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia. The service provider described the 36-hour outage as a very rare and uniquely Canadian disruption.
Yeah, it comes with the territory.
Yeah, you know, the Beavers.
Yeah. I mean, no one here is really upset. They all kind of just, it gave us an opportunity to go outside and say hey to the neighbors.
We were so impressed, it's hard to be even mad about it.
Actually, if you're in Canada, maybe don't go say hi to your neighbors because things are still kind of bad up there.
Yeah.
Anyways, the spokesperson for the local ISP told the news outlet, quote, "Our team immediately worked to identify the location of the damage and discovered that the cause of this fiber cut is fairly unique. Beavers have chewed through our fiber cable at multiple points, causing extensive damage. Our team located a nearby dam, and it appears the beavers dug underground alongside the creek to reach our cable, which is buried about 3 feet underground and protected by a 4.5-inch thick conduit."
Damn, they really...
They got into it.
Yeah.
They got into it, and they survived any kind of, I guess electricity doesn't go through it, but you bite into it, and you're like, damn, tastes like hardcore pornography.
It's got a nice little zip to it.
Yeah. They were able to get things back up and running after a lengthy outage, and we assume that they didn't mess with the dam the beavers built, because who knows what an angry, vindictive beaver is capable of, especially when they've already dismantled vital infrastructure completely unprompted.
Yeah.
Never mess with an eager beaver.
Never.
No.
But speaking of innuendo,
Yeah.
for reasons we can only assume relate to a sudden increase in interest due to the film's 20th anniversary, some internet sleuths have apparently discovered an X-rated moment in one of the most beloved children's films of all time, Shrek. So yes, Shrek officially turned 20 recently. Feel old yet? And despite this movie developing a cult following since its initial release, somehow the discovery of some hidden sexual imagery keeps popping up in news feeds every couple of years.
Yeah, this is nothing new. It's just 20th anniversary, time to bring this thing back up.
So this year was no exception, and coupled with the film's anniversary and how easy it is to share, thanks to video embedding on Twitter and TikTok, this subtle moment was once again thrust into everyone's faces.
So let's just try and get away with showing you the clip slightly altered. Lord Farquaad gets an erection. Yeah, so you can sort of make out the stiffy rising in the blanket after he asks the mirror to show him the princess. And then he looks down at his raging boner and cuts away, but you presume that he masturbates to completion. Yes. Yeah. Again, this has been known by Shrek heads for a while.
Yeah, come on.
Clips of this moment have existed on YouTube for years, so this is nothing new to us Shrek heads. But it still resulted in a whole bunch of headlines about the naughty addition to the film. It doesn't seem like people were mad. They were just like, yeah, I mean, it's Shrek. It's not really. I don't look at Shrek and I don't see a kids movie because I
see a timeless film.
Yeah, a timeless film. So if Lord Farquaad, a bad person, gets a bad boner in it, that's just part of filmmaking.
Yeah.
That's the business.
Anyway, finally today, a tech CEO got ousted from his $2 billion company for doing tech CEO shit. From Forbes, the co-founder and chief executive of the multi-billion-dollar marketing startup Iterable says he was ousted from the company after microdosing on LSD in the workplace, a controversial but not uncommon trend in the entrepreneurial enclave of Silicon Valley. Iterable notified employees Monday that the company's board had dismissed Justin Zhu, an alumnus of Google and Twitter who co-founded the San Francisco-based startup along with Andrew Boney in 2013. While the message to employees cited unspecified violations of company policy, Zhu told Bloomberg he was ousted for taking LSD, a drug that is still illegal in the US, before a meeting in 2019. The former chief executive said he was experimenting with microdosing, taking a low dosage of the drug, to boost his focus. Zhu has been replaced as chief executive by Boney, who wrote in an email to staff that his co-founder's behavior undermined the board's confidence in Justin's ability to lead the company going forward.
And look, there has to be something else going on behind the scenes here.
Everyone in Silicon Valley is microdosing.
Yeah, as far as we're concerned, all tech bros throughout all time, but even before the term tech bro, got to where they are by doing some sort of psychedelic drug. Steve Jobs and Bill Gates both admitted doing LSD. Steve Jobs, I think, credits LSD to the success of Apple.
Yeah.
And if he was just microdosing it, which, as the article states, is extremely common in the tech world, and not even tech, just all startups, I guess.
Yeah.
And also pretty great in general, then realistically, he wouldn't have been high at all. The entire point of microdosing is taking an amount so small that you don't trip at all.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So how would anyone have even known?
Yeah, he was, either there's something else going on, or he was like just so bragging about it that people were like annoyed by it and just were looking for a reason to get rid of him.
They probably just didn't like him. They're like, well, what can we get him on? Like, oh, well, he's been taking illegal drugs every fucking day at the office. All right, cool.
But he's been kicking ass.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, sucks for him, but we're sure that he has some sort of nice compensation package, and now he's free to trip all he wants. He can macro dose, as you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've heard great things. I tried microdosing shrooms, but I don't, like you don't get high, so it's like, I don't know if this is making me better or worse. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's at that point, it's like taking vitamins. You're like, supposedly this is good for me, but how am I supposed to fucking know that?
Yeah, even if it's a placebo. If the placebo works, then great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all for today's episode. Stay tuned. Coming soon, another episode of Tech News Day. But in the meantime, if you haven't watched the latest Weekly Weird News, which was
all about the Josh fight.
All about the big Josh fight that actually happened.
America's first wholesome battle royale.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also the most recent news where we spend a long time talking about the movie Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it yet, maybe don't watch it. But if you want to know our thoughts about Mortal Kombat, check that out and the new Weekly Weird. And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.